Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the United Way Greater Toronto Black Leadership and Recognition Breakfast entitled A Resilient Generation. And today we're going to having a conversation about keeping our youths and families active and connected to our community as we recover from COVID-19. Today's event is presented by the Black Community Advisory Council of the United Way Greater Toronto. For those who don't know me, my name is Lyndon King, and I'm the United Way Chair, and I will be hosting the event this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, it might be cold outside, but I'll tell you one thing, this event is going to be keeping us warm today. All right, so also, it is great that we have the backing of the United Way Greater Toronto, who has supported this event for over 6 years. First in the Peel region and now as a GTA event, which has allowed us to come together and grow year over year and create additional forums such as the Black Community Advisory Committee in Peel and the Black Resilience Cluster in Toronto with York Region and members as well. So before we begin, I'd like to read the land acknowledgement. So I would like to start by I acknowledge that excuse me, that the land I'm standing on is the traditional territories of the nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credits, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and Wendat people, and is now the home of many diverse nations, Inuit and Métis people. I also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credits. We also acknowledge all treaty peoples, including those who came here as settlers, as immigrants, either in the generations or in generations past, and those of us who came here in involuntary, particularly forcibly displacement Africans brought here as a result of transatlantic slave trade and slavery. Today, I pay tribute to those ancestors of African and origins descents. Folks, thank you for listening Thank you for listening, and I would like to thank the elected officials in the audience, and thank you for supporting our communities at this event. Before we start, I would like to share a few housekeeping tips. As you know, this is now a virtual event. Unfortunately, we cannot meet face-to-face, so I know there's a lot of very beautiful people in the audience, so what we would like to do is ask you to turn your cameras on. I know a lot of you are camera shy, but don't be camera shy. We're in a safe space and we want to see your beautiful faces. Also, to keeping in mind that if you do turn your cameras on, we don't want any mishaps. Nope, sorry, I'm okay. I do have all my attire on, so we're good to go. Also, too, I just want to let you know that this event is being recorded. So keep in mind that it is being recorded. We would also like to take a few screenshots as well of individuals that are being part of this event today. We also ask that we welcome the speakers. So since this is a virtual event, what we're going to do is, I don't know if you guys are all familiar with Zoom. I take it we've been using it for 2 years, so everybody should be familiar with Zoom and how these icons work. So if you look at your reaction screen, which is at the bottom of your screen of your Zoom screen, I'm hoping that you could click on that icon, the happy face with the plus. You will see your reactions under there. You can do your thumbs up, your claps, and the way we could go and we can actually have this as a nice virtual interaction performance. Also, too, throughout the event, we will be launching polls for engagement questions as well. So we'll be using a platform called Slido. And basically what this is going to do, we're going to show that information up on the screen, and it'll allow you the opportunity to go to the website and also to log in your correct answers and also play a little game with us as well, okay? And also for those who are very in tune with regards to using multimedia, we also would like you to share it. And I'm just trying to find what that hashtag we will be using, and it's going to be hashtag BHM resiliency. That hashtag again is going to be BHM resiliency. So Again, we're going to ask you to share that on the screen. So what we're going to do, if you guys were listening to me, and I did say that we're going to be very interactive. So what we're going to do is we're going to begin with our first interactivity. Sorry, I think I might be going too fast for the slides, so I'm hoping that you can see the slide on your screen. So again, what we're going to ask you to do is open up a web browser on your phone, go to slido.com, enter the room, and you're going to say hashtag 17873. All right, you can also open the camera feature on your phone and simply place it over the barcode on the screen to also take you to the questions as well. And then you will answer the questions. So I'm going to repeat that again. So what we're going to ask you to do is go to your web browser on your phone, go to slido.com, enter the room 17873. All right, and you can answer the questions. So to begin with, what we're going to ask you to do is, what city or town are you zooming in from this morning? So folks, I need you to tell me what city or town you are zooming in from. And I'm hoping that we could see a guy calling in from Timbuktu. So let's see where everyone is from. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing anything on my screen, folks. There we go. All right. Oh, Brampton's in the house. Toronto, I see Oshawa, Rexdale, P-Town. Where's P-Town? Sorry. Whitby, nice. Newmarket. Whitby had a fire drive in this morning. East Gwilbury, where's that? Anyhow, Innisville, nice to see you. King City, Anne Marie, nice, welcome. Niagara Falls, all right. You guys didn't get snowed in, so I'm glad that you were able to make this event this morning. So that is awesome. Thank you so much for being here. This is great. Thank you everyone for being interactive and taking part in that event. As we begin, again, all you social media buffs out there, I would like to make sure that we give a big shout out to this event on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Again, using the following hashtag, that would be hashtag BHM Resiliency. That is hashtag BHM Resiliency. Okay, so again, February is a wonderful month for us as we celebrate Black History Month, acknowledging the contributions of Black Canadians past and present, but it shouldn't stop here. Hopefully after today, you will leave knowing a little more about incredible Black Canadians in your local cities and feel more informed and empowered by the conversations of today. Today is about inspiration, coming together as a community, but also addressing hard questions about the unique needs of the Black community as we strive towards recovery together. We know that we are resilient and continue to be incredible and continue to do incredible work regardless of the current circumstances. But there's so much that still needs to be done to ensure we keep our youths and families motivated, supported, and to have access to resources needed to move forward. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this morning we intend to applaud those doing incredible work in our communities, learn about the opportunities and challenges on the ground, and discuss the gaps and needs from various sectors, government groups, and ourselves as a community. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning, like I told you before, it might be cold outside, but we have a lot of warmth in this event. And one of them is the honorary chair, Liberty Silver. I would like to welcome our honorary chair to share some remarks and welcome today's event. Liberty Silver is a 3-time Juno Award winner who grew up in various cities of Ontario. She is also the first Black woman to receive a Canadian Juno Award. Liberty Silver is widely known for paving the way for future generations of Black females artists in the Canadian music industry, and she has also been involved with various charities, including the United Way, Sick Children Foundation, and the Nelson Mandela Fund. She has also been the spokesperson for Diabetes Funds of Canada and the co-founder of SAFE, who works with youths in crises through sports and the arts. Liberty, I know your bio is filled with much more accomplishments than what I've mentioned. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, and again, please keep in mind to use those icons. This is interactive. So here's your opportunity to help raise the virtual roof using those clap icons. Please help me welcome Liberty Silver.
Ooh. Good morning, everybody, everyone. It is a privilege to serve as the honorary chair of this wonderful event. As someone who is passionate about community, I applaud everybody here today for your commitment to examining the state of affairs of the Black community in York, Peel, and Toronto. I'm honored today to participate this year, as well as bringing the 3 regions together for this great event. The rich and relevant discussion we are having today and the individuals that we will be honoring demonstrates United Way's commitment to increasing equity, inclusion, and fostering a sense of belonging for all residents across the GTA. Why I wanted to be a part of this? Well, to date, this has been my highest honor. I believe in community. I believe in people. I believe in people helping other people. And to me, I think that is the greatest service that we can do for each other here. I believe that the Black community continues to be really resilient. Our people, us, we were born to illuminate our Creator. We survive, we recover, and we are living testimony. We are built to last. The most heinous circumstances, and to have the ability to love those, forgive, and again, rebuild together. I've always supported the United Way and their campaign and worked along with the United Way with Fortune 5 companies, 105 companies also. The Liberty Silver Foundation was created and a youth and music program was created. We love to help children. I love to help children. I'm still a child at heart. I can't help it. The children were asked to join the program. We rented a room in a school and they were asked to join the program, and they wrote songs, learned dance, created their own CD covers, recorded their own music alongside the reel on the record company SoCan. The program was so successful, the parents participated and refused to leave. And it became a family affair, educating the whole family on the music business. It was such an honor to work with the families. And it made us feel so good about what we were doing in the community. It was so important to us. Anecdotal thoughts and examples. Well, if you're having problems or need support or need to get involved with the community, the best way to help is to call the United Way and ask how you can help. Start walking. That's what I did. I decided that I had to look at my health and take care of self. And I decided that I would be a better me and not let things affect me outside of my home. I made that my sanctuary. I also invited my neighbors to start walking very carefully. And before you know it, there's 5 or 6 of us walking around and outside and talking and relieving our stress. Another solution that I involved myself with a group called the Starfish Collective, and they were supporting older women that were at home during COVID. So my my actual support mechanism was music, of course. So I taught them how to sing, and then I created a track, and then we got them to sing or to speak or to play their flutes or their instruments or encourage them to speak in their own language. One lady wrote a song called Cooking, Cooking, Cooking. Every day I'm cooking, cooking. And the group got very silent at one point, and I said, wow, that's a great song. And do you know why it's a great song? Because you expressed yourself. And when you express yourself, you relieve the tension and anxiety in yourself, even though times can be very difficult and small things can be big things. It's simple and small steps that lead to a greater outcome. And you can feel better about yourself doing things for self. I have a couple of stories to share about experiences that I've had in terms of resilience, and they're connected, and I'd like to share them with you. The first one was, this happened within the music business. The first one was when I participated in the Olympics for Atlanta. And Oscar Peterson's niece, Sylvia Sweeney, called me up and says, we got to write this song. We got to do it. And we did it. And then we needed somebody to pay for the song and the album. So Amway jumped on board, and Amway was like, yeah, this is great. We want 50,000 copies. So they sent us a check, and we looked at each other, and Sylvia said, what are we going to do? I said, we're going to make the record. And we did. And it became the official Olympic record. One day, she got a call from a politician asking her to allow somebody else to sing the song and not me. He thought that, she should sing the song. So I said, okay, wow. I came into the office and she told me about it. And I said, oh, wow, that's interesting. And I said, what did you say? She said, no. And when they asked why, she said, well, she wrote the song. Okay, now we flip again now to Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela is coming into town in the Mulroney government calls me. And they say, Liberty, we want you to sing. We want you to sing the song for Nelson Mandela. Now, years ago, I had done the Arts of Apartheid concert with Harry Belafonte and Desmond Tutu. And I saw Desmond. I said, come, you got to pray with us before we go on and perform. So I got to meet Desmond then. So now we're forwarding back up to Nelson Mandela's visit to Toronto. 24 hours before the gig, I got called from the government telling me that I had been replaced. So I said, okay, but you can come anyway. So now here's where you have to breathe in and then breathe out. And what I did was I said, I'm going. Even though I felt deeply inside another way, my mind said, go. Here's your resilience moment. Here's where you have to be stronger and not weaker because you're giving into emotion or pain. I went. I got my accreditations, was led into a open room, and with, in the convention centers, they have doors that fling out of the walls. So I'm sitting there and it's like VIP room. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of good. I can dig this. And the door flung open. And who walked out the door? Desmond Tutu. He goes, Liberty. You are here again with me. And I said, Desmond, how are you? It's been years since I saw him. And he goes, I have a friend I want you to meet. And the door opened up again, and there stood Nelson Mandela. And he said, you are not black enough to sing. And we all broke out laughing. Just broke out laughing. So now the ANC bodyguards came in and they were carrying us all out the room. And I said, well, I know where I'm sitting, so I'm going to sit where I'm going to sit. And the ANC bodyguard kind of steered me the way he wanted me to go. So I just followed him. We ended up going to the front row, of course, and I was sitting behind Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu, and they were giggling and laughing. And I was like, what are those guys laughing about? And then they brought on the Canadian dignitaries, along with the Prime Minister, along with the same person who was in government who wanted me not to sing the Olympic theme, and now had managed to pass it on to another singer. the same singer that he wanted to sing the Olympic theme. And I'm sitting behind Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu. And Nelson turns around and he goes, "It's good to be on the right team." And I thought to myself, they had this thing planned. They knew what happened. But if I had not have come, if I had not have faced and been resilient, I would have never had that experience again. There's times when we have to choose, even though sometimes it's tough, to work together. But that is the way we succeed, regardless if we don't get the trophy or not. There's a greater lesson in this for us all. And it was a moment I'll never forget for the rest of my life. I'm so honored to be here today, Lyndon. And I thank you. I thank you. I want to say congratulations to the award winners coming up. I want to thank you, Lyndon, and the Black Community Advisory Council for helping to keep this event going. Daniel Zanotti, our CEO and president, and the United Way staff, and the audience for attending. It's time to be real, everybody. Share your stories, listen well, learn well. And you're going to have a great day today. Like I said, I am so honored to be here, and I'm so proud to be a part of anything that United Way does and continues to do. And I want to say, Lyndon, thank you so much for inviting me. This is the highest honor I've had to date, and I thank you again.
Well, I thank you, Liberty, for that heartfelt words, and we really appreciate it. And we're happy to have you here as well. Ladies and gentlemen, big virtual round of applause for Liberty Silver. But Liberty, before you go, I know that you sort of had a waiting to exhale moment with regards to a lot of stuff that's happened to you in your career, in your life. And I know you're doing a lot of stuff with regards to your health. And you said that you're doing a lot of walking and what have you. But now that you have this cold weather, I mean, we folks don't like the cold. So what do you do during that time in terms of...
Well, I sing a lot. And anybody can sing. You don't have to be the greatest singer. I have my bad singing days, but I sing and I walk up and down the stairs. I keep myself active in the house. And some days I do go out when it's warmer. It's important to keep yourself in the right space. And physical health always helps your mental health. Also, pray. We know how to do this and receive. We know where we come from and our people come from, and we are still here. So that shows you how resilient you are. Breathe in yourself and breathe out what is not good within you, and pray and know that when you ask, you receive. So be open to receiving. You are amazing, brilliant, wonderful. You immolate the Creator just by the resilience alone of how we've gone through so much. So this is nothing for you. Yes, sickness is not good. I understand that. People around us leaving us is not good, but you're still here. Keep that resilience with you. Keep it in the workplace. Learn how to get along better and be better for the better of everything. It's a selfish thing, but it's the best way. So just keep your health and keep your faith and move a little bit. Turn on the radio and dance a bit. Turn on the wave, turn on G, move. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you're older, take your time. Don't be trying to do no break dancing or anything, but enjoy life. It was given to you. It's a gift. If you still have it, keep that. Keep that what you have and share it with everybody else. We have to use cameras now. Things are opening up. We still have to be cautious. We can't just go, okay, it's all good, but love yourself, be yourself, know yourself, find yourself, and then share yourself. Yeah.
Thank you, Liberty. Well said. I know a lot of us have lost some close loved ones and friends during these COVID times. So again, that resiliency and love yourself and pray. And that got us through slavery as well. A lot of prayers.
Ooh,
And in the essence of time, I know, Liberty, you are very photogenic and you like to take a lot of pictures. So right now, I'm going to ask that you take a few virtual shots with us. So again, folks, please turn on your cameras. Don't be camera shy. I see people in the house like Trustee Kathy McDonald. We see CAS is in the house representing Safe City, the Congress of Black Women. So folks, please turn on your cameras. I'll be happy to shout you out if I see you online. But Liberty, if you could just perhaps take a few photos with us. Chris
okay.
is going to come online and he's going to coordinate that.
Somebody say click. Somebody say click. Okay.
The person who's going to say click is Chris. Okay, so he's going to be running this part of it. So go right ahead, Chris. Do your thing.
Thank you.
So make sure everybody pose. Strike a pose.
This is a virtual photo shoot. So if you're willing and you want to be part of it, please come on camera. I can do it now, but I'm going to do a virtual photo shoot, so a screenshot, and we're going to try to get a couple, one or two of these, and I'll count us down. So I'll just give a couple minutes, a couple seconds if people want to get on their camera to be part of this. All right, so I'm going to count it down and look at your camera and smile. So 3,
Okay.
1, hold smile. Hold it, hold it. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much. Now back over to Lyndon.
All right, thank you, Chris. And Liberty, thank you so much. Heartfelt speech, thank you so much.
Anywhere, anytime. Thank you. God bless everyone and stay safe.
Okay, thanks. All right, so folks, moving right along, the next person up, I know this individual doesn't need no introduction whatsoever because he's Mr. Daniele Zanotti, the Chief Executive Officer and President of the United Way. So folks, you did an amazing job bringing on Liberty. So we need that same type of energy to bring on the one and only Daniele Zanotti. Clap him out.
Thank you, Lyndon. What a welcome. Thank you, Lyndon, for your leadership. Thank you, Liberty. I could feel your warmth and wisdom all the way to this Mississaugas of the credit of First Nation land that I work and live on in Woodbridge. Thank you, Liberty, for bringing all of you to all of us. Friends, a few weeks ago, I sat with one of my go-to books when I heard that Bell Hooks had passed in December. You know, your go-to books, those few you keep returning to over and over with a bunch of sentences and paragraphs you've underlined, highlighted, sticky noted. And I got lost in one of her quotes. So I wingtipped the already worn page. Quote, I want there to be a beloved community where people can engage in one another's differences in a way that is redemptive, resilient, full of hope, and steeped in possibility. I want there to be a beloved community built not by the eradication of difference, but by its affirmation. By each of us claiming the identities and cultural legacies that shape who we are and how we live in this world. I want there to be a beloved community where each of us stands for justice, and I am willing to stand first. That quote made me think of each and every one of you, of this event, of the Black Community Advisory Council, started so small in Peel, now scaling strong across the GTA. This community of people, parents, agencies, business leaders, teachers, youth, volunteers, 12 years of dedicated work now. Standing to meet needs and improve social conditions steeped deep in the history of structural and systemic racism in this place we love, where Black people, on average, wait 16 months for provincially funded mental health treatment, double the already unacceptable comparable average of 8 months. Where Black youth are 4 times more likely to enter the mental health system through hospital emergency departments than white youth. Where Black and racialized folks are disproportionately impacted by COVID-19, unable to access vaccines in their neighborhood, unable to take paid sick time in frontline gigs, to self-isolate, to support kids to complete schoolwork because of inadequate access to a computer at home. We hold these truths to be self-evident. And the call to action of our pandemic experience, of 2022 Black History Month, of every day henceforth, must be acknowledging the human cost of the negative forces at work in our community, persistent and pervasive systemic racism and discrimination, rising income inequality, to name but 2, and understanding that from wherever we sit, as a white settler in my privileged CEO seat, as institutions, as labor, as agencies, as elected officials, as citizens, from wherever we sit, we have not just the power, but the obligation to ally and act together to change them, to build this, our beloved community, where everyone has a chance at a better life, beginning with a stronger social safety net, led, focused, and serving Black communities. United Way annually investing $4.3 million to more than 30 organizations serving the Black community. 2.8 million of that going directly to 14 Black-led and focused organizations, from fueling mental health services at Tropicana Community Services to expanding an Afrocentric model of seniors care, the Ubuntu Village Project, thanks to Taibu Community Health Center and the Allen Slate Seniors Fund. United Way funding an additional $6.5 million last year in emergency supports for the Black community, with partners like African Community Services of Peel. United Way co-chairing the Black Resilience Cluster Lyndon mentioned earlier, ensuring community-based response to COVID in support of the African, Caribbean, and Black communities, scaled from 13 members to now more than 50 Black-led and serving groups, nonprofit and grassroots, many of whom we've now formed funding relationships with. And in response to research highlighting the underfunding of organizations led by Indigenous and Black communities, our organizational infrastructure grants, thanks to the Barrett Family Foundation, now providing multi-year general operating support for Black-led community mainstays like C, Center for Young Black Professionals, and newbies to United Way like Roots Community Services. And throughout, scaling our Black Youth Success Initiative, incubated with so many of you here in Peel in 2018, supporting well over 300 youth to date in public and separate school boards with wraparound services, building up youth, families, local Black-led agencies, and neighborhoods. Now, its own standalone initiative with core staff that has extended its mandate to post-high school support here in Peel and is extending into York and Toronto too, to support 500 youth grades 6 to 8, preparing them for high school, and partnering with 5 Black-led agencies in York and 2 Black-serving organizations in Toronto. All because for our community, for our GTA to be great, it has got to be great for all, engaging, embracing, affirming our differences. And the levers to build this beloved community include charity, yeah, and a hell of a tilt on social justice too. Starting inside our own United Way, addressing the legacy of structural discrimination and the ongoing impact of systemic racism in our organization first, building equity-mindedness, representation into our culture, from our staff to our committees to our board, many of them here today, by ensuring all of our policies and practices celebrate the identities and cultural legacies that shape who we are and how we will live our mission, and then radiating this out in everything we do: fundraising, grant making, data-informed decision-making, advocacy. Not only are we setting our sights on specific objectives and publicly accountable goals in our own reconciliation and equity action plan, but we're measuring our progress against them, intent on becoming a more equitable organization, fundraiser, and funder, intent on driving more equitable long-term system changes in the community, working with hundreds of grassroots groups and agencies and business leaders, many of you here today, on paid sick leave for all. Our own language and recommendations driving changes for partners like the city of Mississauga, Brampton, and Toronto too. Our shared language and recommendations informing the provincial government's evolving sick leave policy and more recent announcement on a portable benefit system for workers who don't have health coverages. We've been working with 75 nonprofits from across Ontario, big and small, to pen an open letter to the Premier, mayors, and regional chairs in advance of the then Provincial Housing Summit, calling for action on 10 affordable housing recommendations. 10 to start together, to work our way day to day out of the social and structural inequities, centuries in the making, that contribute to the deeply rooted opportunity gap for far too many still today. Because we know, that's why you're here. We are going to have to work and charity and social justice our way out of the day-to-day that Bell Hooks called a beloved community, built not by eradication of differences, but by its affirmation. By each of us claiming the identities and cultural legacies that shape who we are and how we live in the world, this, our beloved community, where each of us must stand for justice. Thank you for being willing to stand first, for accepting this call to action today and henceforth, with all its headway and heavy lifting, for being with us, with community, willing to stand for justice in a united way, redemptive, resilient, full of hope, and steeped in possibility. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Daniele. And ladies and gentlemen, warm clapping, icons, virtual, raise the roof for Daniele Zanotti, CEO of the United Way. Daniele, you are so passionate about the cause of driving change, and we really appreciate that here at the United Way. Also, too, what resonated with me is the fact of the beloved community, shape who we are and stand for justice. And Daniele, I just want to thank you for your leadership and all of the good things that you're doing at the United Way, investing in our community. Also, too, I just want a big shout out to all the community leaders that are out there and organizations that are doing great things to support the Black communities. Thank you very much. Folks, in the essence of time, I got to keep this moving, and we are going to go right into our awards ceremony. So we are going to kick it off. Our first award is the Community Leadership Award. This award is presented to a member of the Black community who exemplifies the mission and values of the United Way Greater Toronto. Nominees demonstrate outstanding civic leadership through dedication to success of the Black community using innovative approaches to meeting community needs. This year we have 3 winners. Our first winner is going to be Dave McNeve, principal at the Ishima Academy, Toronto. And to learn a little more about Dave and why he was nominated, please roll the clip.
My name is Claudia Mandakic, and I have worked with Mr. Dave McNeve for the past 11 years. During that time, I have really witnessed an evolution of a true community leader, someone that takes on leadership through actionable plans, ensures that a program that starts has a vision, and regardless of the resources that he has at his disposal, that vision will be completed and will be sought through to the end. One of the most notable initiatives that I commend him on is the BOMATICS program. It's something that he spearheaded, started about 11 years ago when I met him, and it was all about engaging youth into mathematics through sport. This is why I'm really proud of him getting the United Way award, because I know that he has been our leader for the last 11 years now. He's getting recognized on many fronts. So congratulations, Mr. Dave McNeve. Really appreciate all that you're doing and cannot wait to continue building the BOMATICS program.
Thank you. Our second winner is Tanya Hales, founder of Black Moms Connection. Please play the tape.
My name is Rahel Piedre-David, and I nominated Tanya Hales for the Community Leadership Award because Tanya has shown commitment and leadership through her organization, Black Moms Connection. In 2015, Tanya got together with 12 other Black mothers, and today it has become a global online Facebook community of over 17,000 mothers. Her leadership has raised volunteer chapter leaders in the US, Canada, and in Asia. Tanya has spent her time, her creativity, her connections to start programs such as the Rent Bank program and programs to support moms and their families with food. One of her greatest successes has been the Financial Literacy Summit. She took that and made it into a financial literacy university for Black moms. Through this program, moms have paid off debt, they have secured their future, they have educated their children and their communities about financial literacy. Tanya is a leader because she not only impacts the basic needs of Black families and Black moms, but she also thinks about their future and creating a legacy.
Okay, thank you. So folks, what I'm gonna ask is the winners of the awards, once their video clip is finished playing, I just want them to wave to the camera because we're gonna actually pin you up on the screen so people can see you. So let's begin with Dave. Dave, sorry about that. So go ahead and wave. And Tanya, go ahead and wave. Thank you. Our third winner is Paul Bailey. Paul Bailey is the Interim Executive Director of Black Health Alliance in Toronto. Please play the clip.
Hi, my name is Raquel Simpson, and I am the Program Manager of the Black Health Vaccine Initiative. Through this initiative, I have had the privilege of working for and with Mr. Paul Bailey, the Executive Director of the Black Health Alliance. I nominated Paul because of his consistent and unwavering commitment to the well-being of the Black community, locally, provincially, and nationally. For over a decade, Paul has served as an engaged leader, offering his time, resources, and expertise. His laser focus on creating tangible solutions to complex problems is what has led to building partnerships and inspiring leaders to action. Paul continues to play a vital role in seeing these initiatives serve to improve and protect the lives of Black people. We salute you, Paul. Congratulations on this well-deserved award.
Congratulations, Paul. If we could just get you to wave. Now we have the Leadership in Business Award. This award is presented to a business leader in the Black community that exemplifies the values of the United Way of Greater Toronto. The award recipient demonstrates outstanding civic and philanthropic leadership through commitment to meeting a need in the Black community. This year, we have two winners. Our first winner is Frederick Roberts. Frederick Roberts, owner of Fred's Kitchen in the Peel region. Please play the clip.
My name is Victoria Nelson, President of the Congress of Black Women Nonprofit Housing Corporation, Inc. Madeline Edwards and I wholeheartedly nominated Frederick Roberts of Fred's Kitchen for the United Way Greater Toronto Leadership in Business Award. As owner Frederick Roberts says, the tradition must go on, and he wanted to give back. Fred's unwavering loyalty, commitment, and outstanding philanthropic leadership for serving the community extended his support to the seniors at the nonprofit housing. In support of the social well-being and health of the seniors at the building, they were identified as per their dietary requirements, and a nutritious hot meal was delivered to their door. Thank you, Fred, for your consistent and unwavering commitment to the well-being of the Black community. Congratulations on your well-deserved award.
Okay, congratulations, Mr. Roberts, on your award. And our second winner is Amanda Otley. Amanda Otley, founder of the Pamela Institute for the Community Engagement and Action in Toronto. Please play the clip.
Hi, my name is Raquel Simpson, and I am the Program Manager of the Black Health Vaccine Initiative. It was through this initiative that I met Mrs. Amanda Otley, registered nurse, philanthropist, and founder of the Pamoja Institute. I nominated Amanda because of her awareness of community issues and her use of innovative approaches to solve the needs of community locally and internationally. The Auntie Betty Project is a culturally responsive engagement tool which highlights the crucial role of the auntie in Black culture, a trusted, beloved, go-to source who provides help and comfort for the community's well-being. The Auntie Betty Project is delivered via the WhatsApp platform and provides current and accurate COVID-related information. If people need help from a real person in real time, there are ambassadors available who can speak to them in English, French, Swahili, Kinyarwanda, and Kirundi. To the Otley family, we see you, and we honor you and your legacy. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Amanda, on your award. And finally, we have the Youth Leadership Award. The Youth Leadership Award recognizes and rewards an emerging youth leader from the Black community. This recipient demonstrates an outstanding civic leadership through unwavering loyalty and commitment to the success of Black youths. This year, we have 2 winners. Our first winner is Kiona Chambers. Kiona Chambers, who is the youth coordinator at Black Queer Youth Collective in Toronto. Please play the clip.
Hi, I'm Tatiana Ferguson, co-founder of the Black Queer Youth Collective, a grassroots group dedicated to supporting Black LGBTQ youth in the Toronto area. This video is in recognition of Kiona Chambers, aka Kiki, as the recipient of the 2022 Youth Leadership Award. Why do I think Kiki embodies this award? Kiki has demonstrated strong leadership skills over the past 2 years, both as an advisor but also as a project coordinator. She has been very vital to the success of our BQIC COVID-19 Assistance Project that provided direct support to over 50 Black LGBT youth in Toronto and the Greater Toronto Area. She also stepped up and helped organize our Black Mental Health Day event. Kiki is passionate about leadership and leading by example, and with all of the work that she's done for our collective, I'm proud to say that she has demonstrated strong youth leadership skills. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you at the gala.
Thank you. Our second winner is Jessie Murray. Jessie Murray, Executive Director at SWAG, a youth agency in the Peel region. Please play the clip.
Congratulations, Jessie, and to the SWAG team on being awarded with the 2022 United Way Greater Toronto Youth Leadership Award. SWAG was founded in 2011 and has been providing services to youth across Peel region for over 10 years. Overall, SWAG has supported 450 youth all across Peel. Jessie has been instrumental in his leadership in pivoting SWAG to offering online services during the pandemic. In addition to that, Jessie has led the team in supporting over 80 families in Peel through community givebacks. If I know Jessie well, he will say that this award is not only for him, but for the team. Again, Jessie, congratulations.
Congratulations, Jessie, and congratulations to all the award recipients. Ladies and gentlemen, big virtual round of applause for everyone. Also, thank you to all the people who took the time to nominate our wonderful award winners, and thank you to the award winners for the amazing work that you're doing in the community. Okay, so at this point in time, I would like to now move it to the panel discussions. And the person who will be facilitating that will be Chris Thompson from the United Way Greater Toronto. Chris Thompson is the Community and Investment Manager and the staff lead for the Black Community Advisory Council, Peel, and the Black Resiliency Cluster in Toronto and York. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chris Thompson.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Lyndon. Thank you, everyone, for being here today, and thank you, Lyndon, for doing a great job as a chair for the BCAC. You're going on to your 3rd or 4th year now, and you're still doing a tremendous job, so we are very proud of you. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. So for those of you who are not aware, the panel session of our event represents our opportunity to speak truth, speak fact, and learn together, and provide a direction for us all to move together. The topic today is a resilient generation. keeping youth and young adults inspired, active, and connected to community as we recover from COVID-19. Please note that we will keep the audience muted for this part, but and the chat box off, but you will be able to send questions through Slido, which we've been using earlier today. I will try to get to as many questions as I can at the second half, but I will be facilitating and hopefully cover as many topics and good discussion as we can throughout this event. So you will be able to use Slido later on and put your questions there, and I will make sure to check that and see what questions we have from the audience. But quickly, I'd love to introduce our wonderful panel. So I'm going to try to read their bio, say their name, and you might see them come on screen. Feel free to put the emojis up or clap, and we'll go through them. So first, we have Christelle Campbell, who is the Youth Engagement Coordinator at the Black Youth School Success Initiative in the Peel region. Crystal Campbell studied at the University of Guelph Humber and received an Honors Bachelor of Applied Science degree in Psychology and General Arts and Science Diploma. After completing her bachelor's degree, she attended Sheridan College Institute of Technology and Advanced Learning and earned a diploma in Community and Justice Services. Prior to becoming a youth engagement coordinator, Crystal developed and facilitated youth programs for Roots Community Services, a community organization that delivers programs and services for the Black community in the Peel region. Please welcome her. All right, next up we have Gavin Smelly, a two-time Olympian professional sprinter, community leader, former RBC Olympian, and a good friend. Gavin was born and raised in St. Andrew, Jamaica, and migrated to Canada at the tender age of 14. As a graduate from Dante Alighieri Academy in Toronto, he exploded onto the scene, receiving an athletic scholarship to Western Kentucky University, graduating with a business degree. Gavin is a key member was a key member of the 2012 Olympic bronze medal team, which had their medal taken away due to lane violation. But hungry for redemption, Gavin persevered by winning a bronze medal at the 2013 IAAF World Championship, and more recently winning Canada's first gold ever at the IAAF 2017 World Relay Championships. Gavin just recently made his second Olympic team in the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games, and he prides himself on sharing his experience of perseverance, discipline, and goal setting with Canada's youth, the corporate sector, and the next generation of Olympic athletes. Thank you. All right, our final guest coming to the panel is Carrie Daniel. Carrie is a co-founder of Parents of Black Children in New York Region, which is also a member of the Youth School Success Initiative pilot program, extending off of the Peel program that we're hoping to get off the ground this year. And she's also the executive director and the founder of principal consultant at Kamakunk Communications. Carrie Daniel has over 20 years of experience leading inclusive media communications and equity initiatives. Carrie has also led systemic change across multiple systems in the province of Ontario, including the education and child welfare systems, where she led communications and community engagement phase 2 of the One Vision, One Voice community initiative to address the overrepresentation of Black children in the child welfare system at the Ontario Association of Children's Aid Society. Carrie also holds a BA Honors in Mass Communications and a Master's degree in Broadcast Journalism. Carrie began her career as a journalist, working as a freelance associate producer and assignment editor for NBC News London Bureau. Please welcome our panelists to the stage. Okay. Again, if you'd like to ask questions, we're going to use Slido throughout, but I'm going to try to facilitate the best I can and get some good dialogue going for this next half hour we have here. So, to all the panelists that have joined us today, thank you for joining today. You all bring a diverse set of lived experiences, work, and volunteer experience from various regions and local communities. And we would like to hear from you all on some key areas. So the first thing up today is the topic is a resilient generation, keeping youth and young adults inspired, active, and connected to the community to recover from COVID-19. We would like to start off, and I'll go one by one, and you get about a minute. I'd like to know what resilience means to you and how you see it in the work you do or in the community around you. So we're going to kick it off And I think I will start with Carrie for this, and we'll let everybody get a chance just to get to know you all and your perspective.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris. It's great to be here, and congratulations to all of the award winners as well. Resilience for me it's a bit of a double-edged sword. We know as Black people that we're resilient. We know where we've come from. We know the fight. We know we get knocked down. We've gotten knocked down. We get back up. But for our kids, particularly in the education system, I don't want our children to be resilient. I want the system to work for our kids. We have resilience, to me, when I hear it and I think about it in the context of education, which is where Parents of Black Children is focused. I think about, 4-year-olds who are going into classrooms where they're being isolated, where they're being put on mats, where they're being handcuffed, where they're being sent out of the classroom, where they're not seeing people who look like them within the books that they're reading, the educators that are in front of them, where we have children who are sitting in a classroom where a teacher is using the N-word, or where students are hurling racial epithets at them, and we're expecting those kids to be resilient and to learn and to rise above it. I don't want our kids to be resilient. I don't want them to rise above it. When I think about resiliency, I think about how can we shift the system so that we don't have to be special. We don't have to have special endurance to take the hits, right? It's a little bit of a double-edged conversation for me.
No problem. That's a great perspective. I'll move to Gavin.
How you doing, guys? Thanks again for having me. But for sure, resilience is something I battled with for years, but always able to overcome it, always able to stay motivated, always able to get back up and say, I'm here. I remember physically getting knocked down on the soccer field. And when you're on the soccer field, if anybody hits you and stuff like that, you're quick to fight and stuff. But I remember getting knocked down really bad. I actually had a concussion, I had my tooth knocked out, everything. And then, instead of, staying down and waiting for a stretcher or somebody to come get me, I got back up by myself. And also, as the speaker said earlier, you could take revenge and want to get back at the person. But, I looked at him and just, walked away. Went to the hospital and got treatment and I was fine. And that was me in soccer. And then my sports of choice right now, where I'm a 2-time Olympian, is track and field. And I realized at that moment when I got knocked down is that, potentially, it might be so funny, but, I could actually go to another sport to see, where it could be a little bit safer for me at the time. And not knowing that I could just, try another sport at the time because, getting knocked down in the soccer field, I really didn't want to give up and off of that. So I just tried to see where I could go in other sports and just see where I could branch off. And I found track and field. And, now, again, I'm a 2-time Olympian because of that reason. And I would like to think it's because of that incident why I became who I am today, because, I could have always attacked him and then continue playing soccer and just, not able to branch out. But I just remember in that moment, I said to myself, like, you know what, when I get recovered, I should just try other avenues of, just to play, just to see what's out there. And I, tried basketball, tried every other sport. And I just, surprisingly landed the track and field, which is, the safest sport. Nobody's touching you. So with that, I became again a 2-time Olympian, and I'm really grateful for that. Tooth knockout concussion gave me that opportunity to branch out.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for your being resilient through that. Christelle, we'll move to you on your perspective.
Yes, so for me, working with youth, I see their resiliency and their self-confidence and being true to who they are. And when you see the drive and the passion that they have. And when you have conversations with them and they're telling you that, you know what, COVID is hard. COVID is really, really hard for me to navigate through, especially with school, with this virtual platform. Getting supports that I need, getting access to those supports, is difficult, right? But then at the end of the day, they're also saying, like, I need to stay motivated. I have goals for myself. I want to see myself going to, university. I want to see myself going into, engineering programs. I also see resiliency in how our community agencies and how our community has kind of responded to this need of students, and how they adapted even from an in-person platform to pivot to virtual.
Thank you.
Right, and how they're able to find these.
Go ahead. Sorry, I thought it glitched a little bit. Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. No worries. Yeah, just keeping them engaged in opportunities and just responding to the needs, and also being able to support the broader community as well.
It's so great to hear. And now we know we have a variant, 3 different and kind of unique views on this idea of resilience. So for my next question, we're going to ask about the work you're doing, and you can share a little bit more so the audience understands kind of the work you do, and I guess how you're encouraging resilience or trying to change the dynamic of what that means and pursue change and for the community, as some of you have shared. So you're going to be able to explain how your work connected to resilience, and I guess from your take on it and how that's helping, and connected to, I guess, the wider network and United Way as well as possible. So Christelle, I'll start with you so that we'll flip the script and we'll go for you first and then we'll go back.
Yeah, so I guess explain a little bit about BYS and BYSSI. So with our program, we support Black students in grades 6 to 12 within the PDSB and the Dufferin-Peel Catholic District School Board. And part of what we do is by offering and connecting them to culturally specific wraparound services and supports. So this is like mental health supports, tutoring, post-secondary planning, leadership and mentorship opportunity, skills building opportunity. And we have a great group of collaborative agencies and organizations that we're able to refer our students and families to. So part of this too, even when you look at the skills of what it takes to be resilient and kind of like persevere, we're hoping and we're able to connect them to these opportunities. And United Way has been an amazing support with that, with even offering BYSSI and BYS a physical space for these Black-led groups to get together to see their vision for programs, their needs in the communities, as well as supporting our staff as well.
Thank you so much. Gavin?
Yeah, so currently I'm still actually an active athlete, but as well, I'm also coaching as well. I find that, as I was, especially during the pandemic, I didn't really have time to do much coaching when a lot of people were asking about coaching at the time. But during the pandemic, I was able to, obviously have a lot of time, couldn't travel, didn't do anything. So from that moment, I realized that, a lot of our Black youths, they needed help in that department to stay active, and also just a mentorship program. I know a lot of guys wanted to, I wanted to give them back my experience, especially in the sports world, to get that scholarship. I received a scholarship because I had a lot of help as well. So I just wanted to give back in that sense. So I just started just coaching, just helping youths to just stay active as much as possible. So, whatever I did, I just let them come out with me and do the same thing I did, in terms of just getting to that next level. And, physically and definitely mentally, that did help them. And then especially during the cold times, I realized a lot of these youths that they're much stronger than I thought. I remember back in the day when, it got a little bit chilly and stuff, a lot of athletes at that time didn't want to, go in the cold and do any type of training. But I realized some of these athletes today, or some of these guys today, they actually go out and they actually do the work, in this type of cold weather. Sometimes it's, a little bit of snow and stuff like that, and we still go out there and we do the work. So I knew, like, from that moment, a lot of these guys, they have what it takes, especially to get a scholarship. And they're being that tough in this type of cold, and when they go down south to get a scholarship down south, then it's going to be a lot easier for them because they're training in warm weather. So For me, that's just my kind of turn, just to make sure I help the youths just to stay active, and again, just whatever they need in terms of just getting to that next level, I'm here to help them to be successful.
Thank you, Gavin. And we'll move on to Carrie.
Well, Parents of Black Children is an advocacy group. We're a federally incorporated nonprofit, but we work primarily in Ontario. Our main goal is to create systemic change. We're looking at transformational change within the education system. So our goal is to dismantle anti-Black racism within the education system and those adjacent systems. So, child welfare, for example, as one of those adjacent systems that really touches the education system and impacts our families. Our focus is that systemic change. So we do a lot of advocating, but while we do that, we recognize that we need to support our families. So we don't want to be in the business of programs. We do have programs because that's primarily how funding comes to us. So we also have a tutoring program that we think about as an investment in our kids. So we are supporting 60 children with one-on-one tutoring twice weekly. They've been in that program for a year and a half, and then we have another 30 kids who are just entering a tutoring program into a platform called Rebella. It's our OMO Afrocentric platform. It's a digital world online, and it's the first of its kind in Canada, specifically for Black students. In addition to that, we also support families with systems navigation. And what that means, we think about it as a 911 wraparound support for families. So, we know the issues, the barriers that Black children have in the education system. This systems navigation service is someone that they can call, that parents can call to get support. So we go into the schools with parents. We're literally sitting, holding their hands. We are engaging with conversations with principals, with directors of education. If it's a human rights case, we're facilitating that introduction to legal support to provide parents with that accountability. The core of what we do is about accountability. So we're not just going in to advocate, we're going in so that that we can see the changes that are being made so that the people and the kids that are coming behind are not going to go through the same thing. So we report teachers to the Ontario College of Teachers when they are engaged in behavior that is a professional misconduct, which racism now is. We report hate crimes and hate incidences, including use of the N-word, to the police. We are about accountability. We believe that that's how we're going to create change. Parents of Black Children is also very fortunate to be part of the Youth School Success Initiative through United Way, and I'd like to thank United Way for that opportunity. We're part of that collective along with 4 other Black-led organizations in New York region, including the Markham African Canadian Association, the Newmarket African Canadian Association, the York Regional Alliance, and Anchor, which is located in Vaughan. And through that, we're going to be looking at supporting up to 100 students in terms of mental health, educational supports, well-being, arts. So we're really looking forward to that as well.
Thank you. Thank you to all three for sharing. Carrie, I'm going to start with you because you touched on a topic we want to get into, the systemic change and the issues going on and things, and you focus on education. I'll let you start there, but you can also go into other sectors of what you feel, if real changes to occur, if we're going to recover and go through this, how can these sectors work and change, or what could they do better? So education, but also even like you just speak to even other government sectors or even to the public sector of how they can help in terms of systemic change, and maybe from your definition, define it for those who are on the call and what those really mean and why it's so important that we look at that as we try to recover.
I think, one of the easiest ways to think about systemic change is to think about the response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So think about all of the systems that bent, right? All of the systems that had to shift, all the organizations that had to maneuver overnight to change the way they work in order to support our society. That's systemic change, right? And that's what we need. Black people have had a pandemic for generations. So we need that pandemic response. We need a crisis response. Our Black children are in crisis in the education system. That is not alarmist. It is not an overreach of an explanation. It is the reality, right? We have, last year, through our systems navigation, we had 86 families reach out to us for the whole year. So 86 families came to parents of Black children because they needed some form of support. It could be from, their child might be on an independent education plan and the school isn't following it, or it could be, we've had instances where a child as young as 6 was put on a school bus to be sent to a behavioral school 45 kilometers away from his house, one way. People don't do that to their dog, right? You wouldn't do that to your dog, but they would put a child at 6 years old, 45 kilometers, one way away from his house, and then wonder why does he have these behavioral issues? So these are the things that we saw, right? 86. This year, in the first 4 months, so from September 7th through to December 18th or 17th, the last day of school, we had 83, first 4 months. And these are like, teachers slamming desks in front of 8-year-old students, like serious incidents. So when we think about systemic change, and what we need is accountability. There are measures in place. There's legislation, there's the Human Rights Code, and there are measures in place, even through the Ontario College of Teachers now, through the advocacy of organizations like POBC and others, where if a teacher is found to have committed an act of racism or discrimination, it is now a professional misconduct. It wasn't before 2020. So you could say the N-word in your class, you could do whatever, and it was not a professional misconduct. It is now, but it is not mandated to be reported. So that means, there can be teachers who are doing this and the schools are choosing not to report it. So what we're looking for is accountability, right? We're looking for all of you on this call to push the education system to make sure they are doing their duty to report. And the same with child welfare. We have child welfare wielded as a weapon against our families. We've had mothers who've had to give up their jobs because the school will call and say, if you're not here to pick up your child in 15 minutes, we're calling CAS. So we're looking for, child welfare has a mandate to protect children. When it comes to our families, we know there's an overrepresentation of Black kids in child welfare. So as soon as there's a perception of an issue in a Black home, CAS is there. But there are issues in the school system. So where is CAS protecting our kids, right? That protection goes both ways. So that's what we're talking about in terms of systemic change and accountability.
Thank you so much for that. You bring a lot of depth to that. And you mentioned accountability and the advocacy that we can do. And even those of us on this call with this new information and being a part of that advocacy and helping change. I'm going to leap off of what you said with the systems and what's happening, what you're hearing. I'm going to ask Christelle. Christelle, we know you work with a lot directly with youth, helps them navigate programs, different things like that. Without getting too personal to specific cases that you may talk about with youth, what could you share with us what you're hearing, the challenge that they're going through, some surprises that maybe the system may have missed or needs to do better at, and opportunities maybe?
Yeah, I think with regards to, sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sorry. It was more about just you're working directly with youth directly, and the system of stories and things you're hearing and trying to guide them through. If you could give perspective to the audience here, without getting too personal to specific cases and names like that, but just kind of stuff you're hearing of what is going on and what is kind of needed as support.
Yeah, for sure. I think when it comes to improvements of supports, just overall navigation of the education system for high school students, there's some conversations that we have with students where they're speaking about their goals and kind of where they see themselves in what direction, but they've been taking college level courses throughout high school, right? And that process was never explained to them. So when I'm on a call with them and explain like, okay, well, let's see what have you taken so far, right? What are your courses? And they're saying, I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but just based on where you're at, this is the trajectory where you're kind of leaning towards, right? And then we have to kind of develop an education plan for the students where we have to get them speaking to even liaison officers with the with colleges and universities to see, you know, whether they meet the academic requirements, and then checking with the school as well. Some students are taking night school right now to kind of make up for that. Some students are having to do an extra year because of that as well. And also these supports, the leadership opportunities for students to kind of, I want to say, feel connected with their communities, and as well as kind of develop that that self-confidence, that drive to want to, you know, pursue their goals or prepare themselves. I know some organizations have offered, you know, free high five training for over the summer for youth that wanted to, especially was a requirement for youth who wanted to get into summer camps, right? And there's some youth that took that ran right with it, right? Because they wanted to work with children, right? And that was the perfect introduction to that, right? Or youth that have a passion for mental health, especially everything that's happened within the pandemic. Having that opportunity to support the community and even access those supports for themselves, you don't necessarily see.
Thank you for that and sharing the perspective you see. And that's very important to note in terms of when you're working with youth. And sometimes you find that the system, kind of the trajectory it's kind of taking them, is not the correct one, and you're trying to help them recover from that during their path through high school or in school system. So I think that's a very big issue there. So I'm going to actually use that and go to Gavin. And so Gavin, as a community member, a father, a husband with young kids coming into the system, and they're entering this education system and trying to support them, could you speak to what you're finding as maybe a challenge, or what you would hope the systems are trying to help to do? I'll give that to you.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I actually want to touch on with Crystal, because I mean, with that, I actually went through the same thing as a young man growing up. Like, I just thought it, just knowing that I was on track to be getting a scholarship in high school, like they told me, what college courses I needed to take. So I guess, I don't want to say they weren't informed about it to give me the proper guidance, but, throughout my high school, I just was thinking college courses was okay. I didn't know I had to take university courses to actually, get a greater chance that when I take the SAT, and then just to get me a greater chance to get into school in the States. So it's very important that, again, I'm a mentor to a lot of youth. So I actually tell them that give them that information that, they need to take university courses to make sure that they're able to, when they get to that bubble, that 16 to 18, get a scholarship their way. And that's for my kids and stuff. I'm there, always there to make sure they're okay in that sense. I'm going to be there 24/7 for them. But as being young kids here right now, I just thank God that I'm doing a lot of online stuff for them these days. Just to make sure they're staying mentally and physically healthy. So I'm always constantly there in that sense, and just the kids, I'm also like coaching and stuff like that. I definitely think that we need when there's a lockdown that happened, that these kids should find some way to stay active. I hope the government body, the sports especially, just find a way to not just give us Olympians the opportunity to continue training at facilities, but also give the kids as well some sort of opportunity to safely stay active, especially the ones that are in that sweet bubble from 16 to 18 and are on the road to get a scholarship, or even get to go professionally in any sport, that they help them to just stay active in some sort of way. Because again, once they they get rolling again, all these kids and everywhere else in the world got the advantage already, and are probably going to be able to fill the void on what they are not doing here. So I would just hope that the government finds some way, if there's another lockdown, to give these kids the opportunity to continue training. Because again, they're our future, and you don't want to make them just sit down not doing anything. Just to make sure that try to get them in some sort of some way and some shape or form to stay active. Again, I do a lot of online stuff with them, but sometimes it's not the same. So I hope they provide the facilities to open up to just again in a safe, very safe way to make sure they stay active and potentially get what they need in terms of scholarship or just going professionally.
Thank you so much. While we speak to the mind and making sure that is attended for youth, it is so important about the physical too. And in this day and age and what we're going through, how hard it is to for youth to be able to find that balance and be able to be inspired and engaged in that way. So I think it's important to speak about. I'm going to open it up, these questions to any of you to answer, but more so going toward what we have a large audience here today, community members, maybe some work in public, private, leaders of their own organizations. And so we always want to look at the opportunities as well, right? So even though we're going through this stint right now and these challenges, but also looking ahead, maybe you could speak to more, what are the opportunities you see that we as a community, as a collective could start working toward? And if you have some tangible examples that you want to point to where you've seen a little bit and we could keep going, you could also share that. So I don't, if anybody wants to start, they can, because I've been kind of calling it out, but if I don't see anybody, I will pick on somebody. But if anybody would want to start in terms of speaking to the audience here about opportunities we see and how they could get involved in any of this kind of changes and things that you're speaking toward. It could be small, within a family or a neighborhood or greater. Anybody want to jump in first? The speaker to the panelists? Gavin, maybe I haven't started with you. Would you like to start this one?
So you saying what kind of opportunity in terms of program that could help to?
Just in terms of going through COVID and this time, it's hard as we're digital, but as a community, how can we support each other? How can we get engaged from your perspective, what you're doing, in your sector? And maybe you could speak to even keeping active, but what do you see are the opportunities to keep us moving forward and resilient?
Well, for sure, engaging the community will, create that opportunity to just learn their skill set, their talents, within the community. And then I feel like once, people are able to contribute in a positive way, I think that will make the community more resilient. So I think just, again, just if everybody's staying engaged with one another, and then, once they, especially discover that talent and that skill set, I think from there, the community be better as a whole.
Thank you. And Christelle, to you, what do you think parents play a role in this trying to keep youth resilient and active and engaged in this one? Where do you think their role plays into this?
Yeah, I think parents and caregivers play a huge role. So I know even with accessing programs and services, a lot of the times it's not necessarily the students that are coming towards us. It's their parents and caregivers who genuinely want to see them connected into more opportunities, that want them to stay motivated and keep striving towards their goals and be part of something, right? Part of a community, right, of like-minded people where they can get mentorship and peer support. So I really think parents and caregivers are the champions for students. And I find sometimes that students don't necessarily want that for themselves right yet, but through that encouragement, you kind of see that spark in them where they're more receptive to supports. That you see them coming out of their shell and slowly but surely reach their full potential.
You leading your agency and so many community initiatives, your call to action to community get a rally around this and support the work you're doing. What would you share?
I would say I would have a few messages. So the first, to leaders on the call, I would say hold your fellow leaders accountable across systems. We know that, executives and leadership teams have relationships with each other, as stakeholders, as partners. And so when you're having those conversations or when you're witnessing or seeing something that's coming to your organization as a problem, are you picking up the phone and holding your fellow executive accountable and saying what's going on here and how are we going to rectify this? Or are you placing value on that relationship? above the well-being of, for we're focused on Black children. And so, that's a piece that I think is critically important. We say that when we meet with CAS leaders. Why aren't they picking up the phone and talking to the director about the racism that's happening in the school? Where's the investigation, right? I think, for members just of the community, and we're all connected to schools, we're all connected within our local communities. So I think it's also when we're witnessing these instances where something is not right, ensuring that we're speaking up about it, that we're often as Black people, we are so quick to give the benefit of the doubt, and we're so quick to almost apologize for what is happening to us. But in order for change to happen, we really need to confront it. And so being able to confront that and follow through in terms of making sure that there is accountability for what's happening is really critical. And we all kind of have to be moving in that same direction. And then lastly, I would say, to funders and anyone with means, is that the pandemic has really opened the gates of funding for organizations like Parents of Black Children, which is we're a nonprofit, but we're really grassroots. We're functioning on a skeletal staff. But after the pandemic, our pandemic continues, and we still need sustainable funding that is not program based, or that is not that we know is continuous, right? Those operating funds. So I think looking for ways to ensure that your organization is creating those opportunities for the groups that are actually doing the work and supporting families is also important.
Thank you so much. You all shared such wonderful information. So lastly, we're going to do this quickly because we are getting to the end, but I want to make sure I ask these questions of three of you. We are still going through COVID, and we just came out of another lockdown. If you want a minute, just share what you have done to try to keep yourself motivated. We know it's hard. Mental health is big with people. And if you'd like, you could share. We'd love to hear from you in a minute or so of what you do through the work you're doing, breaking from this to just kind of make sure you recharge or you get focused again. So I'd love to hear from your perspective, just a minute each of what you do, and then we'll end. For this one, maybe we can start with Chris. I haven't started with him in a minute.
Yeah, so I think self-care is so important, especially as service providers. And during COVID, the need has been so high when it comes to students and their families that need support, and you can't pour from an empty cup. So I think finding time for yourselves, and that's what I've been doing, finding my joy, what makes me happy. Being locked up in the house, what have you questioning that? So dancing around like no one's watching, listening to music, even reflecting on my own personal goals, and having time to say, where's my personal growth coming from, professional growth, what I still want to do, right? I'm here, right? That's I feel like a professional growth for me as well, and allowing myself to have these opportunities to kind of, still pursue my passions and, speak to all of you.
Move quickly to Carrie, and then we'll go to Gavin.
Thanks. That's a hard question. I think as an organization, what we've realized is, even for us, like we're so focused on the families, but our mental health is impacted. And it's what we started to do is bring in a therapist to do group therapy with us as an organization once a month. And I think that's been helpful. And we're always, ensuring that we take breaks. Personally, like Christelle, I think, the dancing around the house with my kids, and we've rediscovered a love of board games and all that fun stuff. And we got a puppy, we got a pandemic puppy. So that's brought a lot of joy as well.
Thank you. Gavin.
Yeah, for sure. For me, is the big thing was, especially when it hit, because I used to travel like every other weekend, and sometimes off for like 6, 2 months at a time. So, right now when the pandemic hit, I was able to spend time with my family, and then, Chris, I have a big family now. So, it's just to be here with them, 3 little girls now, had a pandemic baby. It's a beautiful thing for me, and that was my positive. That was my you know, mental, physical health, you know, for me, like just being here to just, you know that, you know, regardless of anything that happened, I'm able to see them, and that brings joy to me. I also just, you know, staying active for sure. You know, and you take things for granted when you don't have it. So, you know, and when I thought I had the track available to me and stuff, and it was taken away, you know, I found myself going on doing trail runs. You know, I hate jogging. Like, I don't like jogging like that, but I found myself doing miles, and it was very, again, you know, peaceful thing for me, and I felt good doing it. And just, yeah, find, you know, and then, you know, you get those times when you just want to do stuff, you know, I mean, just, you know, from us who don't want to eat junk food like that, but you know, during the pandemic, you gotta eat a little something, you know, because, you know, you just want to bring joy to yourself, you know what I mean? As I said, self-care is very important. So I do a lot of things to make sure, you know, we're just having fun and just stay positive during this time, because you could tell, like, you know, there's a lot of things that was happening around us that's very negative. So, you know, we just try to, you know, find anything that makes you stay positive during this time, and just, you know, carry on, because again, life is a gift, you know. So, you know, we just want to make sure we're able to enjoy it as much as possible.
Very true. Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the three of you for joining and sharing. I hope that everybody on this call was able to take something back, learn something new, or just reconnect with something that takes you forward. I see the icons already coming out, so those are great. Thank you for the interaction. So right now, I just want to say that those of you who are, you know, tech savvy or on social media, the hashtag is BHM Resiliency. Share what you heard, share what needs to change, share what you think needs to go forward. Recognize some of the panelists or speakers or anything you heard, and you can do that through social media. Also, I just want to thank you all for coming out today. You will be getting a thank you email and a follow-up with a survey for this event, but you will also be getting information about some of the programs you heard today, the BYSSI or the extension of it in the York and Toronto region, and we're going to be piloting it soon. So we're going to want a survey of what you think about it, especially if you live in the area, programs. So please fill out the surveys as you get them, because we want to roll out these services to you on all these things. So right before we go, I'm going to do some thank yous. So the wonderful, wonderful Lyndon King, we got to thank you again for being our BCAC chair and doing a wonderful job at hosting. Our great honorary chair, Liberty Silver, who came in and did a wonderful job today, great speaker. I hope that people check her out, follow up, listen to her music. And I also want to thank all the wonderful award winners. Sorry we couldn't do give you the red carpet to walk up this year, but we hopefully you like the videos. And thank you for those who made the videos, took the time to make those wonderful videos and present them. And finally, thank you to our panelists. You all did a wonderful job, and we hope to see you again at other initiatives. And thank you to the audience who came out, interacted, and participated. And I just want to say thank you to that as well. And thank you to United Way, my CEO and President Daniele, and all the staff who helped. I just want to say thank you to everybody. And with that, I would like to say have a great day, stay safe, and we can close off the event. But thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lyndon, you're on mute if you're saying something.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, everyone. Chris, you did a great job, and thank you, everyone, for joining this event this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you again. And please look out for the thank you email and the surveys. Those help us for this event and for the programs we want to deliver. So please take them and share them, and have a great day, everyone. Stay safe.